Hello, my name is Sarah Karoa Akena. Welcome to Let's Talk with Sandra A, where we are transparent, vulnerable, and willing to talk marriage, wifehood, and womanhood as a whole. It is believed that for any marriage to happen, we need the blessing, the consent, and the knowledge of our parents. So, in the house, I'm joined by these beautiful ladies. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And how are you?
We are
Good. Thank you. Yes. So I have a question for you. Tell us, what was your parents' reaction when you brought in the discussion about marriage or bringing your man home?
Why are you all looking at me? You have to share with us your experience. Okay. Truth is, when I went to tell my parents about my husband, well, they were happy, but it didn't happen immediately. Okay, I went when I was already having like a small band cooking.
I know, right?
Yeah. So the thing was like this. My then boyfriend, now husband, told me that this is what we are going to do. We are going to your parents' place to avoid that shame in the first place. We shall go, introduce ourselves, and then tell them that we are going on and we are ready to proceed with everything. Then we went. I mean, I was already at home, of course. That was after campus. I had a small business, so it was not like I was empty-handed.
Oh, yeah.
I had my small business that was helping me. Then I told my parents, so-and-so is coming, and they want to seek my hand in marriage. That was after campus. I was young, naive, stupid. Yeah, but of course we wanted to avoid that shame. Then, like 2 weeks after, they went home.
Oh, wow.
When they went, they talked. They were like, they would come home. You people, you don't want to know. The way my parents disturbed me for 5 good years because they did not go immediately.
Oh, wow.
Of course.
Oh, after
After he came
first
home.
him showing himself.
Yes.
Oh.
He went with the brothers and some of the elders. They went home. They introduced themselves, but after a year, I produced. Then the next year, the baby was, of course, still young. Then we added 2 more years, making 5 years. It's last year, but one that they went home and finished everything. That was it. But they were happy at first. It's me who disappointed them because I knew what was on the way. But I didn't want to be direct with them that I'm pregnant. And then
I know.
we were running away from the shame.
Oh, yeah. Not Reverend's daughter.
Of course. And then I disappeared for 5 years. I disappeared for 5 years, and then I went back home again. The assessment was produced, and then they went home and they married me.
I know, right?
People are expecting from me.
Yes, of course.
Yes.
Fantasy lady.
Okay, for me it wasn't something that, how should I even say it? I don't know. But all in all, my parents were excited. First of all, when my husband now told me that we want to come home, and I'm like, for real? You acted surprised.
Yeah.
For real? Like, yes, maybe you find out the days that it's okay with your parents.
Oh, yes.
So that we can come home. Then I'm like, okay, I'll go and tell home. I rushed home. I was excited. I'm like, there's this person who wants to come home. And of course, he's going to come, but he wants to go back with the assessment. Then my mom said, they're going to marry you. Marry. Then my uncle was like, okay, let him come. If he comes, then we what? We shall write the assessment and then something like that. But of course, when your you've grown up in a family where you're many girls, and then most of them have gone. Then there is that one who is
still there.
You know,
What are you doing in your mother's house?
Anyone home? They are waiting. They just hear you are dating, but they have not yet come home. So they were like excited. So when they came home, of course, they liked him. First love at first sight. So yeah, my parents are very happy and proud.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now mine is tricky because I feel I cannot directly tell how my parents reacted. I think I reacted on their behalf. Like I was worried for them instead of like, okay, maybe they're happy or worried. I was the one taking the role of worrying. Now this is because before actually Brian married me, I had introduced a guy before him home. And then of course things didn't work. Now I was in the place of how do I even start telling my parents again that there's another person coming
to disappoint them?
Exactly. So I was afraid on their behalf. So then I took the initiative, talked with my elder brother. I went to Will. I'm like, there is this guy who wants to marry me, blah, 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 blah. So what I did was, I remember my brother works, he's a nurse, went to his duty station with Brian. So I wanted him to first assess. Yes, I didn't want to go to my parents, so I needed him as a young man who would relate with our age bracket to assess Brian. Then maybe I would gather the courage. But of course, after he met Brian, I still was afraid. Actually, telling about Brian to my dad happened 5 months later. Until actually Brian was like, I think you're not interested in the relationship or me coming home. So I now also was like, no, I might miss this opportunity. So I talked to my brother and he talked to my dad. My dad was like, let her come home. So now when I went, my dad was calm. I feel he didn't want to make me feel like, now you see you're bringing the second man home. So his reaction, I think, basically was, okay, have you studied the man? Like, have you assessed his background? You understand? Without making,
feel okay.
They just wanted me to feel okay. Like, you know what, the other unfair, and I don't want to blame you. Things happen. So, but all in all, I strongly believe that they wished me the best.
Of course.
Although I was worrying on their behalf. So me, that's how I think my reaction from the parents was like.
Amazing. Yeah, our viewers, please tell us also your parents' reaction. For me, my mother was happy, but myself actually making the decision to now take Mr. at home for the introduction. I don't know whether to call it introduction, but that first first visit was a challenge. I was really so fearful, and then I remember how when I'd already made up my mind, how we planned with a friend of mine. She was like, you know what, you're not taking your man alone. Let's just plan and then go together. So now twinning. So it was now my boyfriend, her boyfriend, and then one of their friends. So there were 3 guys who went home. And then when we went, of course, we also didn't want my mother now to be very sure and obvious that, this is the one. Yes, we just wanted her to first, to lower her expectation. So now when we told her we have some visitors coming home, then, of course, when they came, we welcomed them. My mother was happy. And then when we told her, of course, now the usual questions, where do you come from? Who are your parents? Then, of course, the necessary pieces of advice. You have to pray, you have to live like this and that. And then later when they went, Mom was like, you girls, I must say I'm really happy and proud of what you've done, because currently now it is important that you bring your men home, and then as a mother or as elders, we first assess them before you go in there. So she was happy.
Wow.
Yes. So let me know, do you think your background shaped your view on marriage or wifehood? Yes. Your
Yes.
background.
Me,
Yeah.
my background really shaped my view on marriage, and of course how I treat my marriage, because like I said, for me, I've suffered in the field of relationships. So I had really quite a number of failed relationships, and then again plus the attempted marriage. You understand?
Yeah.
So now for me, I was already in the place of both fear and then zeal. Fear of failing in my marriage
Fear of the
again,
unknown, of course, yes.
and then the zeal to make sure that if I ever get married,
It has to
it
work.
has to work.
Has to work, yes.
And then, of course, when I look at now family lineage, most of my cousins, of course, I say this with respect, have not been so successful with marriage. Now, for me, this shaped my view in the sense that I needed to be different. Okay, we cannot just all walk the same path. Then it's like, this family, the girls don't marry. Okay, they go, then they come back. So for me, even that again took me in marriage from two places: fear and zeal. The fear of ending up the way the system has been going, and then also that zeal to set a pace and a standard that other people behind me can be like, wow, marriage is a good thing, so let me go in for it. So basically for me, my background shaped my view on marriage. So I look at marriage as something that has to be permanent. I have to stay in it. Like, man, I'm just here for it.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. The thing is, coming from a Christian background, my dad being a reverend, we had to make sure that the things that we were going to do was not going to bring shame upon the family. You understand? So I think my background has done a lot. Indeed, it has done a number on the way I look at marriage. Because I wouldn't just be there on the street and for the street, knowing where I come from.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And the thing is, taking someone to introduce to your parents means a lot. We have parents, I'm sure you've heard of this saying that what a child doesn't see while standing.
Oh, yes. And
elder
elders
sees
seated.
while seated.
Exactly.
Yes.
So if you've taken someone, we have people who are from different backgrounds.
Yes.
People are from wicked backgrounds, let me say this. So if you've taken someone to your parents to see, they would be the judge. They would judge the person for you. So that when you're making your own decisions in the field of marriage, you'd not go astray.
True.
So my background from the Christian perspective made me look at marriage as something that has to be respected. And the person that you're choosing has to come from a religious background for things at least to work for you people.
Now for me, let me say my background, our home, it's Catholic based home. In that case. And I'm married to a born again. So when I look at me now and then my background, I would say it did shape my view on marriage, because if I look at the lineage, how it has started flowing up to now, we are like two only from like, coming down. We are like two who are gotten married, and it has never happened before, So, and then being raised by a single parent, and like one day if I'm to get married, I want to keep my home, take care of my kids the way my mom did for us. Even though, amid this every storm that came, she was there, So looking at my mom and looking at me now who is married, I really want to make make this work. You know, to make her also work with that pride. You know, just for me it did. It perfectly did.
Amazing. Yes, I'm also one person who really owes my marriage to my background, or my view on marriage to my background, and I am especially looking at my mother, and then some of the women or the wives in my lineage. I've actually learned that marriage needs humility, and it requires a lot of work, especially on the side of the woman. And a strong foundation of marriage is normally dependent on a woman. How you handle your marriage, how you take care of your home, how you relate with your husband's relatives, and then people who are there. And then one thing that my mom kept telling me, and she keeps telling me up to now, is when you are a woman or you're a wife, please make sure you don't always involve so many people when you have issues in your marriage. Yes, this thing of today your husband has annoyed you, then you report to the brother, you report to your mother-in-law, then you gather the whole clan to talk about it just because your man yesterday returned home late. You get it? So she really so much discourages me from doing that, and she says, Sarah, let me tell you, for as long as the two of you cannot sort out your marriage issues, just know even those other people you're bringing cannot. Because at the end of the day, even if you bring the whole clan, they will talk, but
even if the whole country,
it will depend on the two of you. Yes, you'll still need to go back inside there and say, now this has happened, and are we still going to stay or not? So it is basically dependent on how you react to certain things in the house. And I really so much grateful that I have really moved on, and I've kept this advice inside me, and it is what is making me push through. Yes. So yes, I can see. What do you think you're carrying on for your kids in their marriage life in the future?
Actually, maybe before that, I there's a time I think I and my husband had some issues when you brought up the issue of the whole. So my dad is funny. So my dad called me and told me, let me tell you, there are issues everywhere. Even me.
Of course.
Me, I'm handling issues in my marriage. So you had better handle your issues.
Exactly.
The two of you. With this business over here, I've run to my mom, I've run to my dad, daddy, mommy. Even me with your dad, I am sorting issues in my marriage. So stay and solve the issues. Like, honestly, background is really
Yes.
No, they beat you and you want to run back home. I remember one time I wanted to go home after I got married. Ever since I got married in June, I think I went home only once. I asked my mom, crossover, I'm like, Mom, is it okay I come home for only even an hour?
Yes.
Like, stay in your home.
There, but you people, you can be there when you're missing home, and you know.
I'm like, but my hubby is not back. You come back like during the weekend. He's like, you go to your mom-in-law.
For sure, because now she's there like
Daddy's
your
owning
mother.
you.
So yes, is there anything you're carrying on for your kids
maybe
as they
let me go
time
in
prepare
first.
for their marriage?
I think for us, I think for me and Brian, what we want to carry on for the kids is the God kind of marriage that they should imitate from us. We don't want our kids to look at, say, Florence's marriage, Sarah's marriage, Eunice's marriage. We want them to understand marriage from us. If we are going to succeed, of course it will succeed. They have to imitate success from us. If it's going to fail, God forbid, they have to understand that it failed from our parents, but not getting different views from different people. So for us, we're carrying on the basics, the foundations, the fundamentals of marriage from us to them.
Wow. Now me, I want my kids to know a kind of marriage that is built from, like, you start with God, you grow like you see how triangle is. See, God is there and we are here. I want that kind of marriage where it is God from the beginning, it's God in everything. It's God. Then marriage is something you don't go in, then you be like, it's hot, let me come out. No, it's for staying forever and ever. That's it.
Kids.
I want my kids to grow up knowing that for a marriage to work, you need to love yourself first.
Yeah, by the way.
If you do not love yourself as a person, it is hard to serve out love. So your spouse will suffer because of your lack of love for yourself.
By the way.
But someone who loves themselves, it is easier to love someone else. That means that your spouse will enjoy the marriage when you love yourself. So I want my kids to start by loving themselves in order to serve
Extend
the
love.
love out.
Yeah.
By the way, talking of loving yourself, there is some lady, she's married, but she has left herself. Now you're married, your husband has wedded you. Yes, she's
You've arrived.
Yeah, you've arrived, and there's no need. Yeah, why now? You're already there, and you're not going anywhere.
Why don't you no longer do
Self-love.
this? What happened? Where is that self-love, people? Those things you post.
Yeah.
Loving myself.
Yeah.
For me, I really don't see that. You can't just let go just like that because you're married.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, for me, actually, to my daughters who will in future get married, I want to tell you that you should work hard, be humble, and respect your husband. And 2 things you should not do. Number 1, don't lock your husband out. Please. And now, right now, I'm talking from the point of your mother.
Yes.
Never lock your husband out. No matter
Whether
how
he comes
angry,
back the
whether he
following
comes
day in
back
the
the
morning.
following day, welcome him in and talk later. Yes, because you see, this is actually one of the things my mother has been telling me, that you see, Sarah, one mistake that you can make is when you get annoyed and lock your husband out because he has delayed out. First of all, let him come in, lock the door, let him be in, ask him why he has delayed and get to understand, because if you lock him out and he goes back, something happens to him. How will you handle that guilt?
What if he kills you from inside?
No. At that
you
point,
lock him inside with you.
At that point, you're the one who is angry, by the way, and he cannot just enter and start beating you. You get it? You're the one who is angry at that time. So don't say, I am going to lock the door, and when he comes, I'm not going to open the door for him. What if something happens to him?
I think you don't demand
And then secondly, where do you get the audacity to lock someone out of his house? Is that
It is
your
our house. It is not his house.
But I mean, you have moved from
Your parents
home, and
it
you've
is
settled
now
with
ours.
What are you saying? That you're going to lock Mr. out when he comes back late?
Not necessarily, but if it's called for, I would.
Oh my God! Yes. Then number 2, my girls, please.
Okay, I was joking.
I know. I knew you were joking because you really can't do that. Then secondly,
But there are women who do that.
I know, and I am saying it is wrong. Yes, and then secondly, also, don't deny him food. Don't deny him food, and we are talking about all foods. Yes, we are talking about all foods. This thing of he has not given him money to cook.
You people, I have a story. For me, right from the beginning, I said I'm work in progress. There was a time Brian annoyed me. Brian annoyed me to the core. I ate the entire food. I ate everything.
And he came and slept high.
Drank the soup. I made it. I was satisfied. I even felt food was up to here. But I was like, now you man, today you will know my head. I ate everything. But in retrospect now, honestly, I'm like, but that was guts.
Yes,
You are not alone. There was a day my friend called me.
I thought she was going to say she was the one who...
But who knows? I was also involved because she said, Mr. has refused to eat. I was like, my dear,
Eat everything.
serve everything. Go to the bedroom, sit on the bed. Not even in the dining. Go to the bedroom, sit and eat and finish that food. Go and take even juice, drink it. If you're satisfied,
But Pia.
Yeah, but also you see,
and she did. The next day, she blamed me.
I know, right?
now see, but
She blamed me
also.
because the guy stayed for 3 days without talking to her.
But also this case is a bit different because at least the man had refused to eat. So the woman was left with no choice. You get it? Yes, at least now if the man has refused, no, that is not your fault. And then to my boys, please, my husband keeps telling me, defend your wife in public and discipline her from inside.
Exactly.
Yes, and you see a number of times wives or women get involved with, a lot of dramas and conflicts here and then. So now if you're that man, my boy or my son, please make sure you don't also now join the other people.
True. Yeah,
at
by
least
the
you
way,
defend her and protect, because at that point now she's alone with you. She's like she's in a foreign land and she needs someone. So defend her right there, and then if there is anything now, you go and do what? Resolve from inside. Thank you so much, ladies. It has been a wonderful discussion. And as usual, we've been at Challenge Garden and Motel.
Yes.
And to our viewers, please, if you haven't yet subscribed, please subscribe and then turn on
Click on the
notification bell.
Yes.
Thank you so much. See you.
Bye.